crazy how quickly people go from BLM in their Instagram bio and posting performative activism to completely ignoring the artistry in this performance and how it in itself is a form of activism. Like everybody else with an internet connection, I have been listening to nothing but GNX all week. GNX being the most recent album from Kendrick Lamar, most notoriously known for its abundance of Drake diss tracks. But I'm not here to break down the Drake Kendrick beef. I'm not here to dive into the lyrics and the hidden meanings and the hidden conspiracy theories. So if that's what you're here for, I'm really sorry. Please stay though. Please don't go. I am here as a filmmaker and a storyteller, and I am just in awe of the amount of creativity that went into this performance. This was a theatrical cinematic experience. Anybody who sits there and says it was boring has one brain cell and was not paying attention. And if you're the type of person who just clicked on this video because you're not sure what's going on, I'm here for you. I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to fill you in on everything. Before we get into the theatrical cinematic experience that was Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance, like this video, subscribe to my channel, please do it. It helps me so much.
Guys, I'm so close to being monetized.
Rap, rhythm, and poetry. We could do a whole video on the origins of rap history, but that's not what we're here to do. We're here to break down every image shown to us in that 13-minute performance. Getting right into it, Kendrick opens with a wide shot of his stage, which is in the shape of a box with PlayStation controller buttons in each corner. There are loads and loads of theories, and fans are unpacking as to why he chose PlayStation, and a lot of people think it has to do with Sony Music and certain artists who were associated with Sony Music and may or may not have been assassinated by Sony Music. It goes deep, you guys. It goes really deep. And very faintly in the back, on the crowd, the lights are projecting numbers until it finally reaches 100%. And of course, immediately, fans are thinking of Drake. Could very well be a nod. Could very well be a 0 to 100. I'm going to show you how 0 to 100 actually is. Could very well be. Once the game is at 100%, as projected into the crowd, we are introduced to Samuel L. Jackson as Uncle Sam. And immediately I felt so rattled seeing this because who is Uncle Sam? Uncle Sam is a popular symbol of the US government, a personification, if you will, the idea of liberty and freedom. Have you guys ever seen Across the Universe? We just need to talk about that because this is the first time I remember understanding Uncle Sam as a figure. In this film, Uncle Sam is used to lure young men into the military through patriotism and the promise of liberty and freedom. I think having Samuel L. Jackson come out was a powerful statement, immediately painting this picture for us that the US as a country was built on the backs and labor of African American people. That is what I immediately got seeing Samuel L. Jackson in this character. And then he opens with the line, "This is the great American game. Enter Kendrick," kneeling atop of a GNX, a black Grand National, where he begins with a small snippet from the title track off of his album GNX. At one point even saying, "Started with nothing but government cheese, but now I can seize the government too." So this car symbolizes his roots, the fact that he opens with these specific lyrics, and he's on top. He's on top of the car, and the American people come barreling out in the suitable American flag colors. As the beat kicks in, he announces, "The revolution is about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy." Honestly, the most iconic thing I've heard all year. So incredibly powerful. Also a reference to a track from 1971, a poem, a song, if you will, by Gil Scott-Heron. Essentially, this song is emphasizing that you have to be active and you cannot be passive in times of immense change like we are in. But what's interesting is the song is called "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised" from 1971. And Kendrick says, "This revolution is about to be televised." At first I thought it was because we are so connected through media, like TikTok. We are watching literally a genocide across the world, people being blown to smithereens on our news feeds. There is no censorship like there used to be. So at first I was like, maybe he means like the access that we have to the media, but it's not that deep. It's literally because he is currently being televised, okay? His performance is a political statement. It is bigger than the music, which he says, but we'll get to that. Segueing into track 2, on the set list, he goes into Squabble Up from GNX, which is indeed a Drake diss track. During the song, it cuts back to Uncle Sam, where he says, "No, no, too ghetto. Do you really know how to play the game? Tighten up." Commentary for how American governments have treated Black people and Black culture. Like, they have to fit into a certain box. They have to abide by certain rules to even be allowed to be perceived or to be successful, historically speaking. There are some people in red behind Kendrick doing what can be observed as an arm emotion, maybe an arm motion we might have seen recently by some powerful people. And I think it's very interesting that these people are in red because the American flag, I think the colors red being blood, blue being justice, white being purity. Then we also have red for the Republican Party and blue for the Democratic Party. So I don't think it's a coincidence that these people are in red and doing this certain movement. It isn't until track 3, when he begins playing Humble, that we see the divided America for what it is. As the track progresses during Humble, the people in position as the American flag, the dancers, begin to slowly march down the steps, going back to what I said about Uncle Sam. It's military energy. They're marching in place, they're marching in line. From them marching in position, he goes, "Hold on," and they split. The crowd breaks for the first time. Probably one of my favorite parts of the show, when he skates his way across the football field with everyone in full force behind him. It's as if Kendrick remembers his purpose and his motivation as DNA, the next track, starts, and he continues to march forward across the field. And it's an interesting place for Kendrick to choose to segue into the next track, because he stops by saying, "I wish I was," and the line following is "fed forgiveness." The fact that he cuts himself off from that line, instead of completing the sentence saying, "I wish I was fed forgiveness," he just goes, "I wish I was, oh no, I actually don't care about your forgiveness anymore." Oh, I was gobsmacked. Absolutely gobsmacked. Excellent, powerful choreography. So simple, yet so effective. Next track, which is Man at the Garden, a multifaceted exploration of self-worth, legacy, and the complexities of success. We have a group of men in white behind Kendrick under a street light. Uncle Sam comes back out and says, "Culture cheat code, scorekeeper, deduct 1 life." Especially disgusting that he says deduct 1 life, because as we all know, many a government employee are guilty of doing so. Yup. It's crazy how quickly people go from BLM in their Instagram bio and posting performative activism to completely ignoring the artistry in this performance and how it in itself is a form of activism. Most of all, this section of the show is commenting on how the American government is always willing to give up the lives of Black people, especially if it doesn't fit their narrative. Moving into track 7 of Kendrick's set list, Peekaboo. I love this choreography. Kendrick's in the middle and he's quite literally popping up. The camera's trying to find him. It's choreographed, but the camera's trying to find him. Peekaboo itself is commenting on how there is a lack of lyrical depth in music these days. What are they talking about? They're talking about nothing. And then we have probably one of the most iconic parts of the show is Kendrick immediately teasing Not Like Us, which is his most notable Drake diss track.
I want to perform their favorite song. Yeah, that song.
Segue into Luther, a song featuring SZA that is it's a love song. It's a love ballad for Luther Vandross, an R&B icon. There is a portion of the song sampled from his music, If This World Were Mine, which again is another love song. So I like to listen to this song like as if Kendrick is speaking to his people from Compton, other African American people, even just America in general. I feel like this is a love song, but this is a love song to his people, his woman, his people, because after this, the people gather in choreography and they march down that street in protest with him. Clear in the set design, this is a street. This is a regular American street with streetlights, and these people are marching with Kendrick. Into track 9 with SZA. To the side, we also get a glimpse of some dancers marching in a circle on a platform, which to me is reminiscent of a cycle or a clock, perhaps insinuating that there is generational traumas or history repeating itself and everyone's just marching obediently in the same circle. Cut to Uncle Sam. Again, he is pleased. That is what America wants, he says. After, we get another powerful line from Kendrick where he says, "It's a cultural divide, 40 acres and a mule. This is bigger than the music." This isn't just about Drake. Someone pulled this up on TikTok, how 40 acres and a mule is referencing U.S. government's promise to African American slaves after they were freed after the Civil War. They were all promised 40 acres land and a mule to support themselves economically, which of course never happened and it fell through. So he's really highlighting the fact that the government and Uncle Sam will continue to lie to you. It has happened for cycles of generations. But Kendrick delivers. He gave us Not Like Us with that diabolical grin that you guys love so much. Say, Drake, I hear you like I'm young. Referencing the fact that Drake is notorious for surrounding himself with younger creatives, potentially grooming them. Who's to say there's no evidence, but there is enough evidence in pop culture to not completely deny those allegations.
What advice does he give you? Like, what does he say?
About boys. He helps me.
What?
Yeah. He's great. He's wonderful. I love him.
What's his advice with boys?
You know, that stays in the text messages.
But we need to talk about the significance of Serena Williams crip walking on stage during Not Like Us. She also dated Drake, her and SZA, so I think it's really powerful that two women in his life are stood up on the stage with Kendrick, basically giving him a big, yeah, you're part of the problem. F you. If you don't know, crip walking is a significant part of Black culture. It originated in the 70s from a Crip gang member, but it is a style of dance. A few years back, Serena had done this little dance at a tennis event, which ruffled a few feathers. If you keep in mind that the fact that tennis is a sport typically reserved for wealthy white people, probably one of the major reasons why it caused friction. So to have her on stage next to Kendrick doing this dance, we still see those dancers in a circle or cycle. And Kendrick is saying, at this point, are you my friend? Are you locked in? Then step this way. And the circle breaks. So it feels like he's really calling his people in to help him call their power back. Enter Mustard. I love this part because we get the line A minor and the whole stadium. You can hear literally everybody shouting. It's amazing. This Super Bowl was the most watched in history with 133 million viewers. So production design, order of the tracks, storytelling through choreography, lyricism is at its finest in this performance. There's nothing subliminal about it. It's pretty much in your face. I think we also need to talk about his wardrobe really quick because Kendrick is seen in a bomber jacket with patches and patterns full of Easter eggs from his album and his music. On the front of the jacket, it says Gloria, which is a track on his album and also a character in his album, I believe. There's some patches on the arms that say womp 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 from the album. The flared pants are a nod to all of the 70s music he refers to in his album from the style of that era. Lastly, we need to talk about the lowercase a chain necklace because a lot of people were quick to assume that it was for A minor. But some real Kendrick fans did the research and come to the conclusion that it refers to P.D. Lang, and it even says it on the top of the chain. So people really have an eagle eye for these sorts of things. Let me know if there's anything that I missed worth talking about. And it's Black History Month, so I gotta keep listening to GNX until I get everything. I gotta go. Like this video, subscribe to my channel. Bye!